This is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and I'm here with a very special guest. I'm with Gizem White, aka the Turkish Coffee Lady, and I've been following her for a few years, and she does some amazing work. And first of all, how did you get started with this?
Jessica, thank you so much for having me, first of all. I'm a proud Turkish American mother entrepreneur, and my mission is, bridging cultures one coffee at a time. But I started this whole thing with a nonprofit project. When I was a student in the United States, I realized the awareness was so low for Turkey and my culture. So I wanted to, foster communication and started cultural dialogue between societies. So I realized, Americans love their morning coffee.
Yes, they do.
And we have this 500-year-old, incredible coffee culture. So I thought I should, bring people together over coffee conversations. Turkish coffee is the world's first coffee brewing technique. So in the 16th century, when Turkish coffee, the coffee beans were brought from Yemen to Istanbul, we started roasting them and grinding them. So we invented a coffee brewing technique in the 16th century, and that's where coffee house culture was also flourished, and it was spread to Europe, during the 17th century. So it is a ritual. It's not just about having a beverage. It's actually a centuries-old ritual enjoyed best with company, sometimes followed by fortune reading.
So now you're going to teach me how to make a Turkish coffee. So walk me through the process.
Well, it's actually a very easy process. It's just 2 minutes. All you need is the finely ground coffee, the equipment for Turkish coffee brewing, which is a copper pot with long handle, Demitas cups, and also if you like to have sugar and water. That's all you need.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, let's say we're doing 2 cups. And for 2 servings, I'm having 1 dessert spoon of coffee for each serving. So this is ready to go. And then for measurement, you can use this cup.
Okay.
Just fill it to the top. So again, for 2 servings, 2 cups. And you can sprinkle some sugar if you like.
Okay, so you put the sugar inside the coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we need is to, brew the coffee very slowly with very low heat. It's a slow cooking process.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna stir the mixture very gently.
And this is really cute. So what is this called?
So this is called jezve, and this part is tight so it can make more foam. So foam is the key for Turkish coffee. If there's no foam, coffee is no good.
Okay.
So we want to make sure it creates a lot of foam. And now the mixture is ready. So we're just gonna wait for a couple of minutes. It's gonna come to a boil, but it shouldn't be boiled, otherwise the coffee can get bitter.
Okay, so you want it to get hot enough where like the little bubbles start coming up, but not too that it's like spattering all over the place.
So it's gonna float up, and then to have some foam, we're gonna actually, skim the top off and pour some foam into the cup first, and then we're gonna stir it one last time, and then the coffee is ready.
And how often do you do this in the morning? Is this more of an afternoon thing? What is like the Turkish coffee culture and day-to-day Turkish life?
So it's a very big, part of our social life, especially, during like meetings, gatherings, family reunions. But we usually consume it like after breakfast, so it helps with digestion. And it's also, a great pick-me-up coffee in the afternoon if you need an energizer.
And speaking of coffee, now you have your own coffee line. How did that come about?
So what happened is with COVID, I unfortunately had to close down my shop at a shopping mall, which I launched back in 2017. And, it was difficult, of course, to pivot and, the uncertainty. We just didn't know if I could start a new location. So I realized this was the time to focus on, building my own coffee line. And what I really wanted to do is actually, while I was, promoting my culture, I also wanted to empower women. So I started this collection featuring Turkey's cultural treasures, and some of them are named like Istanbul, Aegean, Cappadocia, Mardin. And these cities have like so much like historical background, like multicultural, multi-ethnic, even multi-religious. So I wanted to reflect that because it's where cultures meet.
Yeah.
And
gateway of Europe and Asia.
Yeah, exactly. It's like crossroads of civilizations.
And high on my travel list, so hopefully when I go you can show me around.
Absolutely, I'll be happy to do so. So this is almost ready. As you can see, we can see the bubbles forming. So there's a little tip here. If you want a lot of foam, you can actually use sparkling water instead of regular water.
And you said the foam is a big deal.
Oh, very big deal.
Okay. What is it about the foam that makes it a big deal?
So,
is it more aesthetic or?
So actually it remains on the palate, the coffee remains on the palate longer thanks to this soft foam.
Okay.
Because Turkish coffee is made of 100% Arabica beans, so it's more softer, more sweeter.
Okay.
So this is ready. What I'm gonna do is remove this.
Turn off the...
Okay, well, we don't have to remove it. We'll just skim the top off. So
you put the foam first, yeah.
Yes. Okay, this is done. So one last step. You can turn it on. So I'll just stir it one last time.
And you want to put it like medium-low heat, right?
Yeah, medium-low heat. And it's going to be ready just in a few seconds, actually.
Okay.
So the trick here is also pour it very, very gently.
Okay.
And when the coffee grinds are settling, that's for fortune reading, so we want to make sure we're not disturbing them.
Oh, okay. And we're going to definitely do something with that later because
Right,
I
exactly.
definitely want my fortune back.
And these lids are keeping the coffee hot.
So beautiful.
Yes, and it's ready to go.
And it's also something that it's quick, but if you have guests over, it just looks very glamorous. Like, look at my...
Yeah, it's a very sophisticated presentation.
Yeah. But I love that it keeps it warm, like the cover keeps it warm. So yeah, this is fantastic.
Turkish coffee is considered as an ancient art, from grinding to roasting to presentation. It was actually admitted to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List back in 2013 as a cultural heritage that should be protected. So our mission is really to educate our audiences, about this wonderful culture. But at the same time, we started a foundation, Turkish Coffee Lady Foundation in Washington, D.C. So what we like to do is, to really bring people together over coffee conversations, online, offline, and at the same time, with the sales of these, coffee packages, we'll be donating 5% to the foundation, where we will be running women leadership programs.
And the programs are in Turkey or here in the United States?
In the United States. So, it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur. It's even, more difficult when you're a woman entrepreneur and think about being a mother entrepreneur. So we would like to, offer resources, like, where to start, how to negotiate. So I just would like to give them, some advices, some guidance, so they could have a roadmap. These women are so bright, they have amazing ideas, amazing, skills. They just don't have the resources, or they're not aware of the necessary resources. They're out there. So we would like to give them some, guidance along the way.
Well, thank you so much, Gizem. And now I'm going to do the important part. And can I taste it now? Is it ready?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Enjoy. Bon appetit. It's actually kind of creamy, even though it's black coffee.
Yeah.
But again, you can add milk. You can have it with different flavors like cardamom or mastic gum. So it will have a better aftertaste as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And it has like a little bit of I taste a little bit of a spice in the back. What is it? Like, it's like slightly sweet.
So this one is actually a strawberry flavored.
Okay, I can taste that a little bit of the
just a
very faint but very
flavor.
nice. Yeah. Gizem, thank you so much for our Turkish coffee class, and I loved hearing about you and how you've evolved. And for those who don't know Gizem, make sure that you're following her at Turkish Coffee Lady. She is literally everywhere. I remember last time I saw you was like in New York City like 3 years ago.
We were in Canada, Belgium, Netherlands,
you're everywhere.
France.
Turkey, so I
Turkey.
don't know where you're at half the time, but especially post-pandemic, I can only imagine.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, but make sure you follow her, check out her amazing coffee and her foundation, and would love to hear your feedback. Any questions, please leave them in the comments, and thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.